My name is Chris Toplack, and this is A View from the Top, in support of my friends over at the Reaction Room Wrestling Podcast. Appreciate the kind words and the positive feedback for the show last week. You're tuning in for the very first time, sit back and enjoy the ride. We're talking WWE news and rumors, and also we'll throw some TNA in there as well, too. So if you would be so kind as well, too, for future editions of the show, to like it, give it a thumbs up, share it, tell your friends and family about the show. Let's get more listeners tuning in on a weekly basis. We have a busy show to get to, so let's jump right in. Mickie James, there's a name you haven't heard in a while, set to make her WWE return at NXT TakeOver in Toronto. I should actually note that I will be at that show live in attendance and also at the Raw following Survivor Series. I'm just going to miss Survivor Series, which that's okay. I'm about 2.5 hours away, so I will watch it from the comfort of my own living room, but I will be there for NXT TakeOver and Raw. Both are expected to be electric atmospheres. Cannot wait. So she is set to return to take on Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship, and that's a formidable foe in Mickie James. She knows something about winning championships. In fact, she actually is returning to the WWE for the first time in about 6 years. She left in 2010 for TNA, where she eventually became a 3-time TNA Knockouts champion. Had some good matches over there, a pretty decent run, just as she did in the WWE. Speaking of another tough female wrestler, Paige. What's going on with her? Well, she actually just proposed to Alberto Del Rio recently. Yeah, it wasn't the other way around. Paige got in the ring and proposed to her boyfriend, Alberto Del Rio. This was at WWC Aniversario 43 in Puerto Rico. I may have butchered it, but nevertheless, you get the idea. Apparently, her family is not exactly supportive of this decision. Of course, Del Rio said yes. They're madly in love, apparently. You can see that on her Instagram account. Her father actually posted a Facebook post that was later deleted that basically was saying, I don't agree with this, but he removed it. It's also worth noting that Paige was actually removed from the Raw opening video, but she's still employed with the WWE. Now, many are saying that her injury has prevented her from her inevitable release from the company. She actually had neck surgery yesterday. She's recovering. She's happy that Alberto Del Rio was at her side. So as long as she is happy and getting healthy, I'm in favor of whatever she's doing. Just not another wellness policy violation, right? Which could happen. TNA, what's going on there? Well, it appears as though the WWE has seemingly lost interest in purchasing TNA's library and even the company as a whole. In fact, Michael Hayes appeared on Ric Flair's podcast. He briefly noted that Vince has never really brought up TNA at all during high-profile meetings, which is kind of suspect, right? If he was going to invest in that, I'm sure he would tell his inner circle, and you do know that Michael Hayes is a part of that. Now, it's rumored that TNA owes upwards of about $3.4 million to 3 separate companies. Now, this figure apparently does not include the money that is owed to Billy Corgan and another production studio, and that's, of course, from a lawsuit that was filed last month. Now, on top of this, according to WrestleZone.com, TNA's American Express corporate account still has unpaid bills totaling about $270,000. Dave Meltzer, wrestler extraordinaire, of course, when it comes to journalism, and of course, even for MMA as well, too, he noted the following on his show: TNA is probably going to end up filing for bankruptcy. You want to talk about something that's inevitable? It's bound to happen. John Cena turning heel. Could we finally see it after all this time? Forbes.com recently published an article claiming WWE officials are strongly considering the possibility of turning him heel. And this has been seriously discussed too. Now, there are a couple of reasons as to why they would turn him heel. One, of course, is to help get the next generation of top babyfaces over, right? That makes sense. Another is to boost ratings so SmackDown can stabilize. Now, the final thing that they're hoping to do here is potentially have him go up against Undertaker. He would go in as the heel, Taker as the babyface, at WrestleMania 33. We've heard that rumored before. Will it actually happen? Who knows for sure? We'll talk about Taker shortly. Mick Foley announced on Facebook that Charlotte versus Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell is going to be the main event. Read you a quick little synopsis of what he was saying, a little brief part. Forget for a moment about Stephanie McMahon's jumping high five or my awkward attempt to hug the Raw commissioner. The biggest moment of the night for us came when the WWE cameras were off and Stephanie and I just looked at the Hell in a Cell poster, realizing that for women wrestling, history is upon us, as Sasha Banks and Charlotte will main event the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So he's very happy for both of them. I am too. I believe they have the potential to steal the show, two of the best performers in the company today. Now, I mentioned that we would discuss the status of Undertaker, and here we go. It's unfortunate, but again, nothing set in stone. Now, keep in mind when I tell you this, that WrestleMania is still several months away. A few photos of The Undertaker have surfaced that show him using crutches to get around. Now, despite rumors that he wrestled his final match at WrestleMania 32, I do believe that he has one more WrestleMania match left in him. And of course, he might be recovering from some sort of injury or surgery. So who really knows for sure? It's just speculation at this point what is happening. But he was indeed basically using crutches to get around. And this was in more than one photo as well, too. Bad news for Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami suffered a neck injury following a power slam. This happened at a live event in Largo, Florida. And think about this, just months prior to that, he returned from a year layoff, recovering from a shoulder injury. Poor guy. He was actually originally scheduled to tag with Kota Ibushi for the upcoming Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Well, it looks like filling his spot, William Regal formally announced this, that TJ Perkins will be replacing the injured Hideo Itami. So that's going to be Kota Ibushi's new partner for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. That's pretty exciting. Also from Ric Flair's podcast, this is out of the blue, UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping called Brock Lesnar a pussy. That doesn't seem like a wise thing to do. You hoping to book a trip to Suplex City? I think so. Here's what he had to say. How tough do you think Brock Lesnar is? Listen, I respect any man that steps foot into the octagon because it takes balls. But if you have to go in there and take steroids to do it, F you cocky son of a bitch. Kiss my ass. I will knock Brock Lesnar out with one effing punch, which I highly doubt, by the way. I will take him and throw him out of the octagon like the pussy that he is. Am I making myself clear? F Brock Lesnar, F steroids. Wow, a bold statement. Now, I'm a massive UFC and MMA fan in general. Is there ever a possibility of that happening? Absolutely not. Brock Lesnar would manhandle him, but Michael Bisping is just trying to be bold, talk trash, and further promote himself. But I'm sure if he was ever face-to-face with the Beast Incarnate, he would think otherwise for making those remarks, right? Bret Hart issued the following statement on his Facebook page, and this is a really deep apology. I'd like to take this opportunity to formally apologize to Michael Hayes a while back and made comments about the Freebirds not being as worthy of being in the WWE Hall of Fame as others. It was unfair for me to dismiss their contributions to the industry, and they certainly did great things in Texas with the Von Erich family. Michael Hayes always treated me with great respect, as did Terry Gordy, Ronnie Garvin, and Buddy Roberts. And I'm sorry if I disrespected any of them with my comments. Now, he goes on to say, furthermore, I apologize to both Triple H and Seth Rollins for any hurtful comments I made on my podcast. The reality of all of this is the reason I quit doing podcasts in general, because they're, for the most part, an outlet for negativity and have left me with a reputation of being angry and bitter. I'm not. I spoke candidly and openly, but it's no excuse for minimizing other wrestlers or their contributions. In saying all that, I still believe that Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation, including Owen, Brian Pillman, which I'm a massive fan of, by the way, Davey Boy Smith, the Dynamite Kid, one of the best pound-for-pound wrestlers of all time, Jimmy Hart, the Roju Brothers, Killer Bees, Demolition, Rick Rude, and King Kong Bundy, One Man Gang, all deserve their place in the WWE Hall of Fame. My apologies to all. Do you accept that as apology? I thought it's worthy of all those accepting it. Actually, Michael Hayes said, it's water under the bridge, brother. No problem. That does it for another edition of A View from the Top. I appreciate you tuning in. And if you want to follow me along, I'm all over social media at Chris Toplack. The best outlet will be at Chris Toplack on Twitter. And you can stop by christoplack.com to check out editions of Ask the Top, where fans such as yourself will actually ask me questions pertaining to the WWE, and I answer them candidly, honestly, and completely unscripted.